My name is Linda Tucker, and I speak to you from the heart of White Lion ancestral territories. This is one of the last surviving ecosystems in the world, the Kruger to Canyons biosphere, and in the epicenter of it, in the heart of these territories, is the kingdom of the white lions, their natural and their ancestral endemic habitat. I'm going to be introducing you to 13 laws of lion-hearted leadership. These are the original laws of sunlight, and the 13 are the rays of the sun. This was known as the solar logos in the original texts, meaning the law of sunlight. And of course, our human laws were meant to be in alignment with this, because after all, this is the law of life on our planet. The sun runs through all living creatures, whether it's plants, crystals, animals, and of course, the king of animals, the great white lions, who are sunlight incarnate. In the secret teachings of the great traditions which have been shared with me, the white lion is sunlight living in animal form. The rays of his mane indicate the laws of sunlight. The tragedy is that we humans have forgotten these laws in our bid for supremacy, dominion, exploitation, greed on this planet. Essentially what's happened is that we have lost our hearts, our lion hearts. Clearly, we were intended to be lion-like in our leadership, to be great, true, loving, determined, responsible, courageous, generous. We were intended to be lion-like, and we've forgotten that. But these laws take us back in to the ecosystem, to nature, to paradise, which we've lost. They remind us of our true natures in alignment with Mother Nature. Heart, sun, lion. This is the alignment that we need to remember. So essentially these laws are a remembrance. They will be familiar to you. You will recall that this is essentially what you would like to be, who you would like to be, and how you would like to govern your life, govern your world, and see this world governed by authorities. This is the true way. It is known as the Great Way, the way of Tsao, the way of the Star Lion. These are the 13 laws of lion-hearted leadership. Because we've separated from the true plan for humanity, the true leadership model, which is in alignment with the source of life, we feel the sense of alienation, separation. It's a kind of miserable existence in which we feel an emptiness of soul, and we tend to fill it up with material things. But when we return to these original laws of sunlight, the solar logos, the 13 laws of lion-hearted leadership, we feel our hearts opening. It can be quite a painful experience at first, a broken heart, because there's a lot to be heartbroken about. But soon we start to fill that heart with gold, and it's an experience of fulfillment, alignment, connectedness, interconnectedness. We are connected with the greatest animals on this planet, the great white lions, and all living creatures. Lion-heartedness is that quality of fearlessness that comes from love and respect for nature, that empowers us to change our world. It makes us unstoppable. It makes us great. It makes us transformation agents, change agents, able to change our world for the better. And it links us, of course, to our true natures in interconnectedness with Mother Nature. I'm going to be sharing with you the laws of lion-hearted leadership. In fact, these are ancient laws. They go back to our primordial origins. The problem is that we humans have forgotten them. We have forgotten our lion hearts. We've shut down our hearts. We're cold-hearted. We've become brutal I mean, if you look at what we've done to this planet, it is the consequence of closed hearts. This entire training is about reigniting the lion heart. Although these laws take us back to ancient knowledge systems, they're actually more important now than ever before. What I do in my study is I go back to a time in classical history when there were two forms of leadership operating. The one form of leadership I call the Hercules model. The second form of leadership I call the Androcles model. Now, in the Hercules model, you'll recall this great warrior figure who wanted to be lion-like. He was so egotistical, in fact, that he went out, he killed the lion, in some versions barehanded. He possibly ate the heart of the lion. And then he draped himself with a lion headdress to be lion-like. Now, the important thing to remember about Hercules is he was so egotistical that he became unbalanced psychologically. So much so that he actually killed his loved ones. He killed his wife and his children. That is the consequence of that kind of leadership model, which is one of taking. You want the lion, you want to be lion-like, so what you do, you kill the lion. That is the model, unfortunately, that has led to the kind of leadership models of supremacy today, and ultimately this abominable structure that we're all enslaved to, which is the consumerist model. Note, with consumerism, you want, and so you take. That is the consumer today, who does not give back. Now, Hercules can be redeemed. We'll come to that later. But before we do so, let's look at the Androcles model from classical times. You'll remember that Androcles was a herdsman. Herdsman meaning that he was wandering the mountains looking after sheep and goats and cattle at the time. And he encountered a lion in a cave. Now, the lion was in danger because the lion had a thorn in its paw, which means that it can't hunt, it's in trouble. And instead of running away, Androcles actually went into the cave to assist the lion. So the first question I need to ask you is, who is braver? Hercules, who wants to be lion-like, so he kills the lion, or Androcles, who befriends the lion? And that's what he did. As the story goes, they lived together in this cave for a period of time, the lion hunting for Androcles, and Androcles learning the ways of the lion, actually being lion-like, courageous, true, loving, nurturing, having a companion. Remember, lions are pride animals. They are the only truly social cats. So all of this was a training in true lion-heartedness. Now, the key lesson comes later, and that is that Androcles was actually caught by the Romans. And you'll remember that he was thrown into the Colosseum, where he was made to fight as a slave against a starving predator who turned out to be the very same lion that he had rescued and saved years earlier. The lion refused to harm him, and that is the key. When you serve nature, nature serves you back, only greater than anything you've ever given. Androcles helped the lion to take the thorn out of its paw, but the lion saved Androcles' life. And when you truly work in an ecosystem, as I do, in the middle of the Kruger Canyon's biosphere, the third largest biosphere in the world, you recognize that whatever you give back to nature, you get incredible returns. Nature is an incredibly loving, generous, giving system. The whole ecosystem is based on giving, from the food base or the vegetation base all the way up to the apex. It's called a food chain, as you know. But also, it's incredibly giving all the way down the system again. This is the pyramid of life. This is the ecosystem. What we've only discovered recently, scientists have proved recently, is not only do we need the food base, the vegetation base, the soil, to protect all of nature, we actually need the apex to restore balance on this planet. Those of you who have seen the studies in Yellowstone Park will know that the wolves, once returned to their ecosystem, restored balance in the trophic levels all the way down. It's called trophic cascading. Well, the same goes for lions. Lions restore the predator-prey balance, and the white lions are the king of the kings. They are the spiritual template that restores order in the entire ecosystem, not only the ecosystem, but in human systems as well. Remember that you can do this. All these laws are memories of how we should have governed this planet. The key to this is to remember to align. We call it alignment. Literally, you align with the source of light, of sunlight. And that is the solar-powered, lion-hearted leadership. You fill your heart with gold, brave heart, true heart, heart of gold. That is the lion heart. Now, when you forget those laws, it is a deep sense of being forgotten, being isolated, being alienated. You are forgotten. And what happens is you get these extremes of egotism. So at the one extreme, you get this tyrant-like behavior of Hercules, tyrannical. But at the other extreme of ego, you get the victim-type behavior. And the thing to remember, in fact, is that tyrant and victim are actually two extremes of the same thing, of egotism. So often the victim is doing tyrannical type behavior. If you think of people in your life who are filled with victim consciousness, remember that that person's actually being tyrannical, trying to control you, manipulate you, and so on. That is this kind of plane of egotism that most of us are trapped in. The key with lion-hearted leadership is to get into this plane of alignment with the source of pure light and become lion-like. You'll probably know my story. I was in the fashion world, I was in the glamour world, and then I was rescued in the middle of the wilderness by this extraordinary woman who was the Lion Queen of Timbavati. She was a medicine woman of the Tsonga tribe, and she was truly the most amazingly courageous woman I'd ever met. She was lioness personified, and all these laws were operating perfectly within her. So these laws that I'm going to be sharing with you are ancient laws. She's one of the last surviving medicine people, recipient, fully living these laws, and yet they are more relevant today than ever before. Following these ancient laws is the key to not only the survival of our planet, but to our own survival. And not only survival, but our own flourishing, our own joy, our own reintegration back into nature in a way that is truly responsible, finally, for this incredible planet which we have inherited from the divine. I don't care what religion you are. If you understand the sanctity of nature, you will respond to these laws, and what's more, you will become lion-hearted, you will become an agent of change on this planet, you will know that the force is with you, and you will be unstoppable. This is the key to the solution of our planet, and anyone who goes through this training becomes an incredibly powerful and loving change agent. This is lion-hearted leadership.